I caught my fiancé cheating on me with my best friend. She was wearing my wedding dress, but I didn't let it get to me. I'm sorry, but it looks better on me, I said. Our wedding was supposed to be tomorrow, but that wasn't happening anymore. I told Jay to pack his stuff and get out before running away so I wouldn't have to see those traitors for another second. Heartbroken, I decided to drown my sorrows and got really drunk. I ended up at a bar, trying to forget myself. "Hey, you! Make me a cocktail, faster!" I shouted at the bartender, who refused to serve me and asked me to leave. I was tired of arrogant men who pretended they didn't care about me. As a successful vlogger with millions of followers, I was used to attention. But suddenly, I noticed how handsome he was, and before I knew it, I gave in to temptation. The next morning, I woke up in his bed. Oh my God, I spent the night with the bartender who lives in the slums. I thought, wrapping myself in a scarf so no one would recognize me, I snuck out. Only when I was home did I realize that I'd forgotten Jay's engagement ring. Without it, I couldn't fully end things with him. I waited until evening and returned to the bar, only to discover that Ken, the bartender, didn't actually work there. Then who had I spent the night with? The truth was more shocking than I could have imagined. I had slept with the janitor. Actually, I help out with different tasks, like trimming plants, filling in for bartenders, and cleaning. Ken explained when I confronted him. I sighed in relief when he pulled out my ring, but then panicked when he refused to give it back unless I agreed to spend another night with him. No way, I'd lose all my followers if anyone saw us together. I protested. Karma. Then you won't get your ring back, he said calmly. I had no choice but to agree. I never expected him to take me to a secluded area in the woods for a date. You're worried about your reputation, right? Squirrels and raccoons aren't paparazzi, and they won't call 911 if you scream for help, he joked. There was no cell signal, so I felt trapped. Suddenly, Ken started to take off his shirt. Panic rose in me. "Let me go. I don't want to be with you," I yelled. "You can leave any time you want, but the road back to town is that way," he said, pointing to a path. I paused, feeling silly for jumping to conclusions. "You've watched too many horror movies," he teased. I just wanted to sunbathe. We ended up laughing and talking until the evening. "Maybe we can have dinner at my place," Ken offered. "Sorry, I have plans," I said. "On a Saturday night?" he asked skeptically. I hesitated before admitting I didn't, and he invited me to join him. To my surprise, Ken took me to a rehabilitation center for people with disabilities and asked me to help wash the dishes of 2 patients. "Is this another job of yours?" I asked. "No, these are my parents," he replied. I learned that his parents had been in a car accident, causing him to drop out of college and take up multiple jobs to support their care. Before I left that night, he returned my engagement ring and, with it, a new sense of clarity. That same day, I met Jay and told him, "I hope this is our last meeting. If you go public, I'll tell everyone you cheated with a janitor." Jay threatened, trying to use my secret against me. I felt my confidence waver until an idea struck me. I'll tell everyone that he had an affair with the toilet cleaner. Such a scandal would completely ruin my reputation. Jay knew that, so he made an unprecedented demand. "My penthouse. You have time to think before your 10 million followers party." I couldn't let that happen, so I came up with a plan. I also invited Ken to my fancy party, but first, we needed to give him a makeover to the barber shop and haute couture. Ken turned into a galactic-level superhero. At the party, everyone was amazed by my unknown companion. I heard Jay grinding his teeth, and he immediately posted the compromising information in response. I started a live stream and called on my subscribers for charity. My companion's parents had been in a car accident. Ken dropped out of college and had been working hard to pay for their rehab. Personally, I met him at a bar where he cleaned toilets and helped out. I announced a $10,000 donation to support his education. That was tough, but I had something else planned to finish Jay off. By the way, my ex-fiancé cheated on me with my friend Lena. I wanted to share my victory with Ken, but I couldn't find him anywhere. I called and texted, but he didn't answer. To see what was going on, I immediately went to Ken's slums and tried to kiss him, but he pushed me away. I didn't open up just so you could get likes. You're just like your ex, you use others for your own benefit, Ken said. He told me he'd handle everything on his own, without money and my betrayals. You can bask in likes and public perfection all by yourself. He was right. My popularity skyrocketed after the party, and I was even invited to a TV show. It was my chance to leave the past behind and start a new life. So, I chose to tell the whole truth. I fell in love with the helper, spent the night in the slums, and was happy at least until I betrayed him by pretending to be a perfect blogger. I left the studio and saw my name next to the headline liar. My follower count dropped rapidly, and my DMs were flooded with insults, but I stayed calm. The only thing I cared about was the attention of the person across from me. I love you too, and I don't want to lose our happiness. I told Ken. He heard my confession and decided to give us a chance. True love can bridge any social gap.